Greetings, I am Rawilson M. Rebulyo and I will explain the UML diagram. The first class is the payment. And payment is an abstract class that all the payment types inherit from. It holds the shared fields like amount, adjustment, and final amount. And it declares the calculate final amount method as abstract, forcing every subclass to provide its own computation logic. And next is the cash payment, credit card payment, and e-wallet. The relationship in it is inheritance and polymorphism. These three classes extends the payment and each overrides calculate final amount with different rules. The cash payment gets a 5% discount, credit card adds 3% fee, and e-wallets add a flat 20 pesos fee. And this shows polymorphisms where the same method produce different results depending on which payment type is used. And after that is the payment factory. It shows a factory pattern, and in here the object creation by providing a single create payment method that returns the correct payment object based on the given type. This prevents main from directly instantiating subclasses and make it easy to add new payment types in the future without changing the existing code. After that is the transaction log. It shows a singleton pattern. This ensures that only one instance exists throughout the program by making its constructor private and providing a static getInstant method. Every payment routes its log entry through this single shared instance, and this keeps all the transactions record in one place. After that is the payment observer and print receipt. This shows the observer pattern. Or the payment observer is an interface with an update method, and print receipt implements it to print a receipt after each transaction. Payment holds a list of observers and notifies all of them after processing, and meaning new notification types like SMS or email can be added to the payment without modifying. After that is the cashier. The cashier is linked to payment through assign cashier method. It exists independently and is simply referenced by the payment to display who handled the transaction. And after that is the customer. It shows dependency relationship. Customer is passed as a parameter into the process payment method and is only used temporarily to retrieve the customer's name for the receipt, so it is not stored as a permanent field. And lastly is the receipt. It shows a composition relationship, and receipt is a private inner class inside the payment class, meaning that it is created and destroyed together with the payment object, and it cannot exist on its own. So summary, the system demonstrates abstractions, polymorphisms throughout the payment hierarchy, and applies three design patterns: factory for object creation, singleton for centralized logging, and observer for receipt notification. And that's all for UML diagram.
So, Dangal greetings, Sir Janus. So, I am Kent Barapama and I will be explaining the payment class in our system. So, so as you can see here, we will need to import an array list. We'll explain it later. So, this class is like an abstract class where the implementation of calculate final amount will be based to the type of the transaction. If the customer pay cash payment, credit card payment, or the via e-wallet, the child of, or the concrete class of the abstract class payment, we implement the final amount. So we have here the private cashier, then print receipt to link together. So we just need the name of the cashier, then we need to print a receipt here. Then after that, we have a private list the observers. So we need that to create an empty array list. Um, then we need to create a public payment. So by doing this, you will get the amount and the type of the payment and the receipt. So we have here from the observer class, payment observer is the assigned cashier, then the attach. Then after that, this line of code here will just calculate the final amount. It forces the card cash payment class, credit card payment class, and e-wallet class to compute the final amount. Then, as you can see here, this line of code will just calculate the final amount. The six out will just for the organization of the first output. Then we call here the transaction that uh, get instant to log the transaction in the transaction log. Then it lists all by using this code we list all the name of the customer in the payment observer and get their name. Then this line of code here will just ensure that the other class will not get the final receipt.
Dungan greetings po, Sir Janus. I am Mark James Punumban and I'll be explaining the payment factory class of our lab exam. So this class is used to create a different types of payment object based on the given input. It follows the factory design pattern, meaning it centralizes the creation of objects instead of creating them directly in other parts of code. The method create payment, such as this, create payments method string type double amount checks the value of the type parameter and returns the corresponding payment object such as the cash payment, credit card payment, or e-wallet. Each initialized with the given amount if the type does not match any of the specified option. The method returns null, which is this, and indicating that no valid payment method that indicating that no valid payment object could be created. That's all for the payment factory method.
Here in the e-wallet class is a specific type of payment that extends the payment also in its base class to inherit the parent class and its adjustments of the final amount. Its constructor it passes down to the amount of the parent class and sets the payment type to e-wallet to identify the transactions. It uses polymorphism by overriding the calculate final amount method to apply this own rule. For e-wallet payments, a fixed fee, 20 pesos is added for the original amount. This fee is stored as a positive adjustment and then added to the compute all to the final payable amount. Overall, this class handles the only logic for the e-wallet transactions and keeping the system clean and organized and easy to expand with other payment methods. That's all. Thank you po. Here at the credit card payment class is another specific type of payment that extends the payment base class, allowing it to inherit the common properties like the amount adjustment and the final amount. In its constructor, it passes the given amount to the parent class and sets the payment type to a card. It demonstrates a polymorphism by overriding the calculate final amount and the method to apply its own computation rule for credit card payments and a 3% service fee if added the original amount. This fee is stored as a positive adjustment and then added to the amount to get the final payable value. Overall, this class focuses only on the behavior specific to the credit card payments, helping to keep the system organized and making it easy to add more payments types in the future. Next thing is the e-wallet class. Greetings, Sir Janus. My name is Michelangelo L. Valdez, and I will be explaining the three classes of our code. Number one class is cash payment class. Number two is the credit card class. And number three is the e-wallet class. In here, in the cash payment class, it is a specific type of payment that extends the payment base class, meaning it inherits a common properties like the amount, the final result, and its constructor. It sets the payment type to cash and passes to the amount to the parent class. It uses polymorphism by overriding the calculate final amount method to apply its own rule. For cash payments, a 5% discount is given, which is stored as a negative adjustment. This is a discount, then added to the original amount to get the final payable account. Final payable amount. Overall, this class focuses only on the logic for cash payments, making the system organized and easy to extend with their other payment types.
Mga greetings po, Sir Janus. I'm Mark James Punumbayan and I'll be explaining the customer class of our lab exam. So this class represents a customer object and demonstrate a simple example of association where a customer can be connected or used with other classes in a program. It contains a private string name that stores the customer name, keeping it protected from the direct access. The customer constructor string name is used to create a new customer object and assign a name when it is initialized. To allow other parts of the program to access the customer name, the class provides a getter method, which is the getName method, which returns the stored name. That's all for the customer class.
Greetings po, Sir Janos. I am Remark Pasage po, and I will be explaining the cashier class. So, this Java class represents a cashier object that stores the cashier's name. The name is declared as a private variable, meaning it cannot be accessed directly from outside the class. Instead, the class uses a constructor to assign a value to the name when a new cashier object is created. To allow other parts of the program to retrieve the name safely, a getter method called getName is provided, which simply returns the cashier's name. That's all. Greetings po, Sir Janos. I'm Mermeg Pasage po, and I will be explaining the print receipt class. So this Java class represents a print receipt features that reacts when a payment is completed. It implements the payment observer interface, meaning it follows a pattern where it observes or listens for payment updates. The update method is automatically called when a payment event happens, and it receives the customer's name and the final amount inside this method. It simply prints a message to the system output, showing that a receipt is being printed for the customer along with the amount they paid. That's all.
So, greetings, Sir Janus. I am Ken Navarro and I will be explaining first the transaction class in our program. So, to start, this is the transaction log, which means all the transaction is has been logged in this system. We'll go here. Then, as you can see, it is a singleton design pattern, and we have a private static transaction log here, which means all the data will be written here. Then private transaction log, so only this class can access this class. Then the get instance will just if any class try to create or instance, uh, it is for the data to be the same. If another class try it or you instantiate and get the get instance, it will be the same. Then this right here, this line of code will just print the test cases that has original uh, type of the transaction, then original amount adjusted for the discount and the final amount. So that's all for the transaction log. Let's go. So the greetings, Janus. I am Ken Tabaro Pharma again. I will be explaining the main class in our program. So to start, this is our main class. So we'll create a payment factory here to initiate the payment and print receipt to print the receipt later. Then need to create a cashier named Valdez, then a customer named Mark. Then after we create the customer, so as you can see here, create instantiate payment P1 that we use the factory here to create a payment that has cash and 1,000 pesos, and we assign a cashier here. So Valdez, then attach a printer, then print the result. Then to the payment transaction tool, we have a credit card here, 1,000 pesos. Same throughout the test cases. Assign the cashier, print, attach it to the printer, and process the payment or printing it. Then another one, so an e-wallet, so 1,000 pesos. And same procedure, assign a cashier, attach a printer, and process the payment. Then after that, as you can see here, we successfully uh, we have successfully created the necessary test cases. So as you can see here, we have a log. So the type is cash. Original is the original amount 1,000. Then because of the 5% discount by using cash, the total amount is 950 pesos. Then same procedure, card original amount is 1,000, and because there is service fee of 3%, it's become 1,030 pesos. Then to the e-wallet, there is 2% uh, additional fee or service fee, and same to the original amount 1,000 become 1,020 pesos po. And that's all for the main po.